Welcome, everybody, to the Bears Den from Warren Media in collaboration with Sports Zone Chicago. I'm your boy, the Superback, Sean Sierra, and I'm with my man, Joe Tanksy. Joe, what's up, Papa? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I can't wait to dive in. We got a lot to talk about. Yeah, man, it's been another crazy week. Contracts, um, HR issues. It's like a big giant soap opera. It's like daytime TV.
It really, really is, man. And but you know what? We're here for it. We're Bears fans. As much as we don't, we wish it was a lot smoother. We're still here for all that smoke. We're dying to see what's happening. We're trying to get all the information. And as Bear fans, we're tuned in. Some people have tuned out. Most of us are still tuned in, and it's going to be an interesting rest of the week. I hope nothing else goes crazy as it has so far. But well, let's get started. Unfortunately, the Bears fell. All right, the Bears fell to the San Diego Chargers. It was it was a game that I was hoping they could get.
Yeah.
Right? But I was worried. I was really worried about Herbert. All right, this kid is this young man, not even a kid, but this young man is a stud. I was wondering how they would respond to a real quarterback, and they had their chances, and unfortunately for them, they came up a little short. So, your thoughts on that game to the Chargers losing 30-13?
You know what? This was a game like I was hoping the Bears could, go on the road and kind of scrap it out, in a close one. But it just seemed like the Chargers were on a different level talent-wise, and the Bears just didn't match up very well. You mentioned Justin Herbert, and he was able to carve up that Bears defense. They really didn't have an answer for him. The matchups they created, offensively versus our defense was a lot to handle. If you played man, you ended up with, Austin Eckler, and they couldn't cover him. If you played zone, they just went to the short game, and you got Keenan Allen and another, in the bevy of other weapons, Quentin Johnson, Palmer. He was doing good. He got injured during the game, but he was getting some catches. The big tight end, the 6'8" tight end, I think it's Parham or something like that. But he was doing damage. They just had a lot of talent on that offense that the Bears defense just didn't have an answer for. Scheme wise, I think this was what the next level looks like. Right now the Bears where they are. I think they got some good pieces talent wise that they can build with. And the Chargers are kind of like the next level of an up and coming team where the Bears are trying to get, and you kind of saw what that looked like on Sunday night.
Yeah, you know what? My thought was this. I was really annoyed with the play calling. That bothered me to no end. And it's amazing that Luke Getsy can't stick with the same game plan. All right, this all goes back to exactly when I asked Coach Eberflus a couple of weeks ago. What's the identity? All right, when the Bears won. And I said, this is your identity moving forward. You ran the ball. They ran the ball 38 times in that game. I said, is this your identity? And will you do it moving forward, even when Justin comes back? And he gave me a coach speak answer. But apparently this is the best. This is the identity. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They only ran the ball 25 times. Okay, this past week for Tyson Bagent. Why wouldn't you continue to run it with Tyson Bagent? All right, as your quarterback, take all the pressure off of him, and help him. It doesn't make any sense, man. It really, really doesn't. So, in class when you deal with the quarterbacks, but they didn't push the ball down the field. All right, you got the 31st or 32nd ranked passing defense, and you're not pushing the ball down the field. All right, you're still going to check downs and flats, and all they did was just drop linebackers into the flat in cover 3. And it confused. And at that point, Tyson Bagent, and the egregious part is that you as coaches, offensive coordinators, and the people in the box couldn't see it. You didn't make adjustments. You didn't throw behind them. You didn't throw 10, 15-yard curls. You didn't throw 15, 20-yard digs. Nothing. You did nothing. And you know, I don't understand what the situation was, why you didn't do that, because it was there all day. Why you didn't help Tyson Bagent by putting him in a position to be successful, I have no idea. None.
You know,
that's a completely different game.
You know what? And you raise a good point, because you brought out, a lot of instances where the coaching could have been better. And, they'll sit up at a press conference and say, well, the players just have to execute better. How about the coaches do their job a little bit better and put the players in a position to win? And that's something that they consistently haven't done, throughout the season, especially, on the offensive side of the ball. Like you, I was expecting to see more of the same. The Chargers defense is primed to be run against, and yeah, they got a bad pass defense, but when you line up against Bosa and Khalil Mack, you got to take it to those guys. And I think we pointed that out, previously. And like our viewer said, Armando, guess he does outsmart himself. And a lot of times when these coaches, try to be, the smartest people in the room, they outsmart themselves and they end up looking stupid. I think, good coaches make adjustments to their players and do what is necessary to win a game each week. And that's something that we haven't seen from this coaching staff consistently.
No, we haven't. And we haven't seen and I don't know what Ryan Poles is doing. I don't know if he's talked to Eberflus about Getsy or if he's talked to Getsy himself. But man, stay consistent. Stay consistent with what works. And for some reason I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, it's strange.
But moving forward, all right. This week, all right, the Bears. All right, they visit the New Orleans Saints, Nolans. All right, they're going to Nolans. All right, week 9, Sunday, high noon, games on Fox. And that man right there, Jalen Johnson, there has a lot going on with him in the media. Let's talk about that. He was given permission to seek a trade before the deadline. The deadline was Halloween afternoon. He was able to talk. He was able to go. He went, and apparently he couldn't find a trade partner. Couldn't find a trade partner. And so now he's back. And he was very candid about being back. He was very candid about, someone asked him if he was surprised to still be a Chicago Bear, and he said, yes, I am. But there's something that's not being said here, because in his press conference, he talked about he's not trying to reset the market. He's not trying to do anything. All right, but he also wants to get paid like Diggs from Dallas. Well, Diggs has more turnovers and causes more big plays. So I don't know. I don't know where they're going to reach. So he's not going to. He's going to be a Bear for the rest till the end of the season. Rumor has it that he's not going to have contract negotiations for the rest of the season. He might just be salty. Your thoughts? You think that if the Bears come up to him with a decent offer, he'll listen to it, or what do you think the situation is for Jalen Johnson?
Well, he definitely wants to, get paid, and I think, at 20, here's the thing, like the NFL, everybody, these young men know that life in the NFL, is very fleeting. An injury could happen any instant, and that's it. Look at the Tyreek Cohen situation. What I'm saying? Like, it's many instances.
Johnny Knox.
Johnny Knox. There's many instances, where players, get injured before their payday or get injured after their payday. Johnny Knox never got to get the payday. Fortunately, Tyreek Cohen got the payday, before he got hurt. So, he was kind of, stable, but these young men, they play a hard game. You know what I'm saying? That it's the equivalent of being in 4 or 5 car crashes and in one day. And think about that, the toll that it puts on their body, the sacrifices that they had to make. And for Jalen Johnson, you put all that into perspective, this could be the only opportunity, where he gets to have a big payday at 24 years old. This is it for him, and he's trying to maximize that. So I do understand that situation. I do think that the Bears value his leadership in the locker room. I do think they value what he brings defensively. And I it's just, unfortunate that, that they had to have this, kind of, drama in the middle of the week. I think, Jalen Johnson was trying to maximize his opportunity and, do some of the things that, the players can do, to kind of, push the envelope a little bit. And it didn't work. Quite frankly, Ryan Poles, for what it's worth, has all the leverage right now because, he didn't have to trade him and he can franchise him, at the end of the season, and the only thing, Jalen Johnson can really do is, play out the rest of this season, ball out, and go back to the table. If he doesn't like, then maybe we'll have a holdout situation. I do wish that, we didn't have to have these distractions, and I think part of it is, with Jalen Johnson, he's always been very candid and very open and honest about how he's feeling about a situation, right. And so, and I think for a lot of people, it's easy to kind of, relate to him, which kind of messes things up a little bit. Poles was out, speaking today, and usually he's not one to talk about contract situations, but I think he felt compelled to do that because of the way Jalen speaks in the media, kind of, persuaded him a little bit to, be a little bit more open about the talks. And it seems like, they're pretty, far away right now. I do think that Ryan Poles and, values Jalen Johnson, at least he says so. You really can't believe these people, football execs, but I think for the most part, Ryan Poles has been a pretty straight shooter.
He has, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And, he doesn't hide, unlike Ryan Pace. All right, he's there when necessary. And he has the, and he was pretty honest. He said, "Hey," he goes, "I love Jalen Johnson." He said, and I wasn't going to trade him unless I was able to get a pick where I can go get me another Jalen Johnson. And he goes, that's why the asking price was so high, and I get it. If he's being transparent, I get it. You like him, you want him to sign him, but by the same token, you still can't. I mean, you're not worth the $20-something million. All right, they got to come to an agreement. 13, 16, 7. You know what I mean?
Right. And and for me, I think I'm not an agent. I'm not Jalen Johnson. I wish I was. I had my time. Unfortunately, I wasn't as good. But for me, I'm saying, like, 20 mil. Yeah, I would have a hard time paying Jalen Johnson 20, but it's not my money. But I think anywhere between that 16 and $13 million a year range is where they could meet. And from what I understand, in the press conference, they didn't really get to a final offer yet. So right. I don't think they even know how far apart they really are. So I think the best thing though is for both people, both parties is have Jalen Johnson go out and ball out, get some more interceptions because that's what's going to drive the price up. You know what I'm saying? Create some more turnovers, force some fumbles, do what you need to do. Lock Michael Thomas down, lock Olave down, and continue to do that, And the week after that, go lock Adam Thielen down. I think that's what's going to drive the price up for him.
Yeah, so I hope they're able to come to a conclusion before the season's out. I think that'll be very helpful for this team. And he's got help now. Right? He's got help. All right, the Bears this week, after the trade deadline, they were wondering, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, what are you going to do? Bam, here's what they did. All right, the Bears traded for Montez Sweat. All right. It's somewhat of a steep price. All right. It's their 24th pick. 24 second round pick. Second round pick. And, according to many draft experts, the edge class is weak this year. Okay. And what's really bothersome about this is that, Bears fans are like this. It's a very toxic, in my opinion, a very toxic fan base, because all we kept saying was we need an end, we need an end. Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Brian Burns, one of those three. We got to get one of those three. What happens? We get one of those three. Why do we get Montez Sweat? Like, it's really, people are really. He's older than Chase Chase Young, and he only got him for a third round, and you had to pay for a second round for him, and people are just really ready to. People want to complain about everything. All right. For me, the best thing about this was, the fact that, yes, he's 27, Chase Young's 24, but the fact is he's at 67 games and he's at 67 starts. Okay, this guy is durable. This guy plays the run very, very well. And people are going to bring up the fact that, well, he's never had double-digit sacks. I heard some Jamoke say that today on the radio. So what? He's got more sacks this year, as many sacks as the entire Bears defensive line this year. And he plays the run very, very well. He might even play the run better than he plays the pass. So, and you're going to have to – and here's the thing that really bothers me. And this is the thing that really, really bothers me, and I want to slap the hell out of people, Bears fans. Well, you're going to have to pay him $20 million, $25 million. Guess what? That's the cost of doing business in the NFL. It's the cost of doing business. Okay? Your highest paid player, most likely, it should be your quarterback if he's not on his rookie deal. Next highest paid player should be one of the next two, left tackle or wide receiver. And the next one should be the edge rusher. Actually, 2, 3, and 4, they're all interchangeable. So you can have the edge rusher be the second highest, left tackle being the third, and wide receiver, or you can have the wide receiver being the second, edge third, left tackle fourth. But they need to be up there. And you're going to have to pay for that. You're going to have to pay for that. And you know what? Here's what you do. You gave up that second round pick, for the exclusive negotiating rights to have him, because he's on your team now. Because if he went to free agency, a whole bunch of other people are going to come have the chance to give him a pitch. No one else has that chance anymore. No one has that chance. So now it's the Bears, and the Bears only for 9 more weeks. And I'm cool with that. I am that. So it's frustrating. Okay, it's frustrating, but I'm happy he's here. I'm expecting him to do big things. And people talk about, well, how much he's not going to benefit from having Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, and Chase. Chase was always injured. You have to worry. It was never worried about him. All right, he played better without Chase. Okay? He was very productive without Chase Young. And I'll tell you what, our Bears defensive line, they're getting really good fast, Joe. They're getting really good, really fast. Look at Javon Dexter. I posted that thing on him last week, remember? I posted this. All right. Since week 5, against all rookie DTs, the best grade, the second best pass rush grade, tied for the first in pressures, second in true pass rush, tied for first in hurries. And so if you don't think he's becoming a problem, you're crazy as all get out. And Andrew Billings, boom. This guy just got a new extension. Why? Because this guy eats up blocks. This guy he's killing people. 2 years, $8.5 million, $6 million guaranteed. This guy is eating people. So if you think you're going to be able to double team my man, okay, and Montez Sweat, and no one else is going to affect. And what about Yannick Ngakoue? Now, if you double team him, guess what? Now Yannick is on his man coat is singled up. So now he's going to have to step up and earn his money. So I'm liking this, man. I'm liking it.
Yeah. You know, in the press conference, Ryan Poles called Montez Sweat a multiplier, and you kind of just laid it out. you kind of laid it out how it's going to break down now, and you know with John, Javon Dexter is up and coming. Andrew Billings has been solid, pretty much all year. And Justin Jones has not been a slouch. We'd like to see a little bit more, but he hasn't been, he's been solid. A guy like Montez Sweat, he can play every down because he can play the run, he can play the pass, and now you can kind of, interchange, DeMarcus Walker and Yannick Ngakoue according to, running situation or passing downs, and I think it will make, Ngakoue a more effective pass rusher because he can come in on those dirty longs and doesn't have to worry about, stopping the run. He can just go straight after the passer, which he is very effective at doing. So I think this move does have the possibilities of Montez Sweat coming in and being a multiplier for that defensive line, and it's also going to help the secondary. I thought at the beginning of the year, we've had some injuries that the secondary would be the strength of this team, but without a pass rush, it's kind of hard to cover the guys that long, and now that, with a pass rush, kind of being answered, that problem being answered, the ball's going to have to come out a little bit quicker. And, you'll start seeing, that secondary and that second level being able to get their hand on the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, I think they will. I think this is going to help Jalen Johnson. It's going to help Tyreek Stevenson. It's going to help Jaquan Brisker. I mean, I'm not sure if he's still in concussion protocol or not. Actually, let me see. One of the things we have here, injury report. Yeah, he did not practice. Well, most likely won't play. Here's the injury report for today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Larry Borum didn't practice. It was personal. Didn't practice. He wasn't in practice Wednesday. Didn't practice. Jaquan Brisker was still in concussion protocol. That was a weird thing. When he was back on a plane, that's when they realized he was sick and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nate Davis with the high ankle sprain, he hasn't practiced. Tremaine Edmonds hasn't practiced. Justin Fields, obviously we know that. But Eddie Jackson was a full go today. Braxton Jones limited. Probably just went through the walkthrough. Mercedes Lewis, that's a big one. They said rest. So if it's just rest, okay, cool. Lucas Patrick, UC, was a full go, and Terrell Smith did not practice. So that's the, that's the thing. And you know what? There's some other craziness going on up at Hallis Hall as well. All right. We have no idea what it is, but man, the Bears. All right. Running back coach David Walker was fired.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He was fired. HR was involved in the decision in the firing. That's from The Athletic, but from multiple sources, actually. It says a lot. It just, and here's the one thing about it, and luckily I'm a former player and a coach, and people are talking about, Eberflus, and I'm not a big fan of him right now. All right. And they're talking about, well, he doesn't have any leadership skills and whatnot. This is the second coach in 6 weeks.
Take that dude's face down.
The second coach in 6 weeks that's left the team.
Right.
And they're talking about, and it's funny when people are talking about, they say, well, he's not a very good judge of character. And I'm like, okay. Do you think that he speaks, you know what I mean? Like people are good at faking the funk whenever they need something. You know what I mean? People are different when other people aren't looking, and it's tough. You don't know. We don't know what was said. We don't know what.
Here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, with Alan Williams, I think, there's somebody that he had worked with, for 5 years, saying, and, and here's the thing. Sometimes, you think you know people, but you really don't.
Right.
You really don't. And in the case of, the running backs coach, he was pretty accomplished. He worked with, Dave Wanstead at Pitt, with LaShawn McCoy and Dion Lewis and all those guys. He was there. He's been around. He's been around. He's been around a lot of places. And I think, you just never really know what people are going through and who they really are. I think, a lot of times, like you said, people are really good at hiding when they need something, they're really good at hiding, what their intentions are. I think, we don't know the whole realm of what was going on, at Hallis Hall and this HR incident, you know, but I think the lack of information, just allows people's minds to kind of just run wild and come up with the most, you know, insane and chaotic things that could be happening, where it could be, belittling staff, you know what I'm saying? Or, something like that. It doesn't have to be sexual. It could be anything,
Right.
using
Right.
it could be anything, but I think a lot of people, start thinking like, man, he must have, but I think, yeah, in the case of this, I think, it's like when it rains, it pours.
No, I agree. And
Yeah.
think about it. And here's the thing that people aren't, people focus on what they want to focus on. When you have an agenda, you talk about and you focus on the things that support your agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't saying, hey, listen, Ryan Poles acted quickly, okay, in this situation. It came to his attention. He wasn't afraid to pull the trigger, okay, and fire this dude for whatever infraction he had wrong. Because very often we've seen coaches who get fired someplace and they'll just go and, they get picked up somewhere else and just to be on a staff, and they'll just do that just for friends. Ryan Poles like, hey, man, he goes, you crossed the line, you violated a certain code, you got to go.
Right.
People aren't talking about how severe and swift this punishment was. They're just talking about, oh, this is, Eberflus is, bad. He's a bad judge of character, blah, 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 blah. It never happens. Okay, you're right. It probably doesn't. But when it does happen and you're able to, and you handle the situation like they did, I applaud them.
Well, think about this. When we talk about this, think about when the Washington, Commanders with the Redskins, back then, and Daniel Snyder and all the nasty stuff that was happening then, that just kept getting swept under the rug.
Right.
What I'm saying? It has been, and you find out this is stuff that has been going for years, and so you look at that situation, and people are quiet about it and hush about it. They don't want to say anything. Well, another thing that Ryan Poles said today, the hard way is the loud way. You know what I'm saying? The easy way is just to sweep it up under the rug and keep on moving. You know what I'm saying? But when you're loud about it and do what you need to do, it does give people an opportunity to ask questions. And kind of point the finger and kind of, try to criticize and figure out what's going on. But when you act swiftly, and do what you need to do. Just look at the situation that we had with Northwestern, where they tried to release a media press release in the middle of the night
on Friday, yeah,
on a Friday, with, at the end of the media cycle, and people were like, hold on, wait, you know what I mean? So being quick and being swift about it, I think is commendable. And we don't know what the code was, but whatever it was, he deserved to get fired for it. And it's not an issue any longer.
Yeah, it's not. Give me your thoughts on the trade for Montez Sweat. Are you happy with it? Are you think they gave up too much? Or you know what I mean? Give me your thoughts on it. I want to hear your thoughts, and I want to tell you what some more Ryan Poles stuff, and I got to commend him.
You know what? I think, at a certain point in time, I think, you got to start building the team and adding, those blue chip players to your team. And I think, Montez Sweat has been that guy for a while, and he can be one of those guys for the Bears. And I think, with all this money, you just can't sit on it forever, and like you said, forever. I don't think you're going to find, a Montez Sweat in the draft this year, and then when you look at the free agent market that's going to be up and coming, there's not going to be much available. And I think, this is, something that he's been willing to take risk on. I think he's, he kind of forecast the market and try to get ahead of it. It's something that he attempted to do with Chase Claypool. It kind of fell on his face about it, but I kind of like, that he kind of stuck to his guns, and, he's trying to forecast and look for ways, to improve the team. Now, if the Chase Claypool thing, kind of worked out in the Bears' favor. I don't think you hear much of this feedback and fallout about giving the second round pick for Montez Sweat. But I think in this situation, I think, coming from, the Washington Redskins are a lot different position than the Pittsburgh Steelers were. And I think, the Washington Redskins are in kind of in sellout mode, sell-off mode.
They are, yeah.
And so, they're trying to tank the rest of the season. They're just trying to get in tank mode. And so having a piece available like that, for your team, it's a lot different to the Chase Claypool situation, where you kind of, scratch your head at why Mike Tomlin would want to get rid of a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? But this is a little bit different because the teams are in a different situation. The Pittsburgh Steelers were building a team, and, it looked like Chase Claypool could be a part of that future. And them letting him go was a kind of a head scratcher. We didn't know why, until he got to town, but we kind of figured it out. This situation with Montez Sweat, a little bit different. He's been proven, like you said, 67 starts, plays every single game, hard worker. Nothing negative coming out of Washington about him.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the locker room likes him. He's not a me guy. He's a team guy. And, he's going to be good for that locker room. I think it's a little bit different.
It's definitely different. And you know what? Here's the thing that I respect Ryan Poles a lot. Here's what Washington tried to do. All right. They tried to sabotage it. Okay. And this is from Brad Biggs. All right. He wrote in the Chicago Tribune. He said, however, a source with knowledge of the situation told Brad Biggs, Washington did not grant Sweat's representation permission to shop for a trade and a new contract. That would have made it easier for the Bears and removed an element of risk in this deal. The Commanders also could have increased their asking price beyond a second-round pick had they extended that option. Like, okay, you already know you can get a deal. Well, he's already signed. We want a second and a third for next year. You know what I mean? And according, again, Brad goes on to say, however, there's a nuance to this that you need to understand. Teams sometimes hesitate to grant permission for players to seek trades because that can remove their control of the situation. In this instance, the Commanders didn't allow Sweat's party to grab the steering wheel, and that left them in a position to dictate what they felt was best. So, kind of shady. I mean, it's not shady. You're playing by the rules, but still, it's a low-level move. You want to keep control of the situation. So, because I thought, oh, sure, the deal had to be done, but Washington said no, and that's kind of shady. Yeah, I just thought that was kind of shady by Washington's part. Again, legal is all get out.
Mm-hmm. But I think Ryan Poles seemed fairly confident that he could get a deal with
he does.
West.
He does.
So I think he's probably been in contact with the agent and know what he knows what the number is, and with all the money that they have in that cap space, I'm pretty confident they could get it done.
I think they can too. And your thoughts with Jalen Johnson before we wrap it up. Your thoughts with Jalen Johnson. But
he said he was going to be upset if Montez Sweat got his money before he did, and I think it's going to be. I'm going to take him for his word. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to try to pee in the pool. At least I hope not. He doesn't see. That would really kind of sour for a lot of people. He came and tried to piss in the pool because he's not getting his money. But it's two very different situations, for these players right now. And I think, Montez Sweat is in a situation where he's proved it year in and year out. And Jalen Johnson, while he's, been up and coming, he's shown that he has the ability to be a top corner. The consistency on the playing field is, his availability is not there. And so I think that's part of the reason the Bears are kind of in wait and see mode with him. But I'm confident, saying that if you take Ryan Poles at his word, that he'll get a deal with Jalen Johnson done too. I think, right now for the Bears, you know, in this position where you're up and coming, if you want to get to the LA Chargers level, get to that next level, you're gonna have to start retaining some of this good talent that you have. You just can't, start, trading guys away or sending guys away for nothing. And I think, Jalen Johnson is definitely a piece that you can build with, you kind of got to get it together and keep adding pieces now. We're not taking away.
Yeah, so I agree. You can't keep trading good talent. You just can't. Your thoughts, Tyson Bagent? Here's what he's done so far this season: is 2 games, 31 and 43, 245, a tutty, and a pick, 49-5. All right. I'm hoping he does well, and I'm hoping that they give him a good game plan. That's what I hope. Give him a good game plan. Do that again, and he can thrive, and he can help win this game. He won't. I don't think he's ready to win games yet. He might be. I'd have to see it. But he can be he can be one of the reasons we win. Let him throw the ball on the field. Take the handcuffs off and lengthen the leash a little bit. Stop throwing to the God blessed flats all the time. Let him throw some curls, some digs, some posts. Right? You let him throw one deep one to start the game. He didn't throw deep again until late in the game when we were down. Let the dude go throw the ball deep. All right, he's got an arm. We saw it. He's got an arm. Let him use it. So a lot of this comes down to Luke Getsy and his ability to unchain him, unhinge him, let him play. All right, but you let him play after you run the ball 35 plus times. You let him play after you establish that line of scrimmage. You let him play once the defensive line has to stop the run before they get to the pass. And this is what he needs to do, and that's how he needs to put him in a good situation. Is commit.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see what Luke Getsy can come up with this week. That New Orleans Saints defense is a top 5 defense, and they've been pretty solid all year, especially against the run. Teams haven't been able to run against them, but I do think that the strength of the Bears team is to run, and I think they should do what they need to do to establish it. I think if you're counting on Tyson Bagent, to go out there and throw the ball 35 to 40 times a game, it's not going to be a good outing for the Bears. I think you have to, go out there and try to get some balance and be a little bit more unpredictable. I think, last week against, Los Angeles, the Chargers, they kind of got, were able to sit on some routes. They, like you said, they were able to sit on those short routes, and, there could have been a lot more turnovers because, those DBs got their hands on a lot of balls, because they were just sitting and waiting for the ball. They were there waiting like they knew what the route was. And so I think, Getsy has to come up with a game plan that's going to be a little bit more unpredictable and a little bit more balanced, this week against the New Orleans Saints. That's a very tough defense. Like I said, top 5. And, they're solid both in the pass and the run. So you're going to have to bring, the only way you can beat a team like that is to go out there and be physical and try to be as physical and a lot more physical than they are, kind of impose your will in the trenches. That's the only way you can get to a defense like that is if you're trying to push them off the line, and you're not going to be able to get side to side on them. You kind of got to just, like we said last week, you got to ram it down their throat.
All right, well, just about ready to wrap it up. Before we do that, let's get your predictions. Week 9 predictions. Bears, Saints, who you got?
You know what? After last week, I'm kind of soured. I think the Saints are going to win. I think, we're in a situation going into the Superdome. Bagent hasn't played in a situation like this before, as loud as this before. And they talked about the silent count. I think it's going to be a lot of confusion, as far as that aspect of communication that he's not going to be used to. I think that the Saints are going to be able to win. I don't think David Carr is Justin Herbert though. So, I'm thinking 24-20 24-13.
Really?
Yeah, 24-13 for the Saints.
Okay. Joe, what's the prediction? Saints win 24-13. Okay. Okay. I'm torn. All right. I'm torn.
They don't make it easy for us.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wonder if Montez Sweat's playing. He should. All right. He's not. You have to read defense. You don't have to read offenses. You go get the quarterback. All right. Stop the run. Go get the quarterback. All right. It's
right.
And so I think it'll be. Yeah. I you know what? It's tough, but I gotta do this. Oh, I didn't say who it was. Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm nervous. You know what? I'm cautious. I'm very apprehensive about the defense. New Orleans defense has always been good. All right, you talked about the dome factor. It's definitely a difficult situation for any quarterback, an opposing quarterback, to go into. Tyson Bagent's coming off a bad performance. They've already saw how to deal with him, and that's get people in the flat so he can't throw the check down, or the check downs are minimal to none, no gain. And now he's gonna have to push it down the field, which I hope he does, but yeah,
yeah, and I think
I hate doing that, but
yeah, and I think I have a friend who's going to visit New Orleans for this game, and he was hoping that Justin would be able to play, but I think we're starting to see the more and more Tyson Bagent plays. I think we start to see the inconsistencies of Luke Getsy, in this offense, and some of the changes that need to be made. So hopefully, the Bears can come out on a winning end, and hopefully they run the ball, but he hasn't proven that he's willing to do that.
No, he hasn't. So it's going to be definitely interesting. Come Sunday, 12:00 game. So only bad part about that is if they lose and you want to drink, it's a lot of day left to drink.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, well, listen. Hey, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Another edition of the Bears Den week preview in week 9. Bears travel to Nolens, down to NOLA, take on the Saints on Sunday. Make sure you tune in because we'll see. Sunday, 12:00 kickoff, 12 Central. You can watch that game on Fox if you're here in Chicago, Fox 32, or listen to it on AM 1000, either here on the radio or the app. There's an AM 1000 app that you can listen to, so you'll be able to hear the Bears game there as well. So for my guy Joe Tanksley and our other guy who couldn't make it here, Saul Rodriguez, guys, I'm your boy the Superback Sean Sierra. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you actually.
All right, peace.
How are we gonna wait? So next week, wow, because they play next Thursday.
They play next Thursday. Yeah.
So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Wednesday.
Maybe a Wednesday. Most likely a Wednesday. Holy jeez. Yeah. All right, well, we'll see you guys next week. We'll let you know. We'll put it in. We'll have you guys aware of when we're going to be. All right, so for everybody here, and from More Media and collaboration with Sports Zone Chicago, guys, you have a great night and bear down.
All right, peace.